So now, let's start animating a scene. Let's say I've been given this scene from this storyboard to animate. This orc walks into frame, and then the camera pulls out and continues to watch him while he walks for a while. Then, he trips and falls down and yells, "Oh no, my poor toesies." This gives us a good picture of the content of the scene, but there are still big decisions we need to make about the timing. How long should the scene be in total? How many frames should each step of the walk take? How long should it be before he trips? How long does it take for him to say his line? These are things that we can plan out a little first. One way animators plan a scene is with an exposure sheet, also called an X sheet or dope sheet. Each row represents a frame of the animation, and each column is a layer or element in the animation. An animator would make notes on the X sheet indicating when certain things happen and what frames are keyframes. Dialogue would even be broken down sound by sound on the X sheet for doing lip sync. An X sheet is great because you can make whatever notes you want, but in digital animation, you can also just use your program's timeline to roughly plan out your animation. For our scene, I'm actually going to do both. I'm in Toon Boom Harmony, which has a digital X sheet linked to the timeline so you can see how they compare. I've already got a scene with an extra wide background set up. I'm going to start by picking a length for the entire scene. To help me with that, I shot some reference footage. I'm playing this with a program called Qt Sync that lets me add in this timecode at the top. Now I shot this video on my phone, which shoots at 30 frames per second, so we can't use the exact frame numbers since we're animating at 24 frames per second. But we just need to estimate the time anyway. So let's say that this is where we want to end. That's 13 seconds and 15 frames, which means 13.5 seconds, which at 24 frames per second would be 324 frames. Now, let's mark out where the start of the trip should happen. It looks like 5 seconds and 24 frames. Let's call that 5 3/4 seconds. So on our timeline, that would be about frame 138. Let's do 139. Since I'm going to be drawing this on 2s, it's good to keep frames on odd numbers. Then let's estimate maybe 36 frames for the fall itself, which would be frame 175. He'll be on the ground. And then a little over a second to get up. Let's call it 30 frames to get up, and we'll have him up and starting his line on frame 205. All of this can and probably will change once we actually start animating, but it's good to get a picture of how the blocks of time are working within your scene. What we can't change is the length of time for the dialogue. To know that, we need the recording. There's 2 lines in the scene. There's that one scream when he trips.
Bah.
That one's not hard. We can just put that at the frame where he trips. This next line where he actually speaks is a little trickier.
Oh no, my poor toesies.
Here I can see the length in my audio player, but I'm just going to go ahead and import it onto the timeline, and then we can see how long it is. So now you can see we have a waveform, both on the timeline and in our X sheet. There's that bit of moaning at the start of the line. So I'm going to actually start it right after he falls, and then he'll be moaning as he's getting up. If I play the timeline, we can hear it.
Oh no, my poor toesies.
And with the waveform, we'll be able to time out our lip sync later. We could do more, but that's really all we need to get us started. We'll plan out some more details when we get to doing the walk and the lip sync. What we have marked here are essentially the keyframes or key poses of our animation. So to finish out this video, I'm going to go through and make a drawing for each of these positions. If you're working in 3D, you would be creating a pose for your character rig at each of these spots in the timeline. There we go. All ready for the next video. I'll see you there.